Brotherhood Outdoors is presented by Bank of Labor, born of integrity.
This week on Brotherhood Outdoors, Gene Barnes is a proud member of IAM Local 2781, District 154.
My brother Greg is 2 years younger, and we've always done everything together. Pretty much if me and Greg were out doing something, Dad was tagging along with us to make sure we did it right.
I've taken both my boys hunting from the age of about 5. I'd have them trail along behind me.
You know, I recently lost him, and he's gonna be hard to replace.
His brother Greg was involved in a horrible workplace accident, and the members of Local 1943 rallied behind Greg and his family in their time of need and supported them when they needed it most. So what was it that Gene Barnes wrote to us asking to do on Brotherhood Outdoors? He wanted his dad, Harlyn Barnes, to get his very first elk.
You know, the excitement really started to build. I could tell it in Dad's eyes. It was about to happen.
I'm on the job before most people are waking up. I take pride in who I am and what I stand for. And when the day is done, it's no different. My passion for the outdoors and my craft cannot be denied. That's what Brotherhood is all about.
I'm Gene Barnes. I've been a member of the IAM for 20 years now. Local 2781, based out of Calvert City, Kentucky.
Gene Barnes is a proud member of IAM Local 2781, District 154.
I submitted the application while watching the show. You know, I really didn't realize that until I watched the end of it, and several episodes later, I thought, you know, this would be a good opportunity for me to tell my story about me and my dad and my brother.
Gene Barnes sent in his application to appear on Brotherhood Outdoors, and he told us an incredible story about the way that a union can come together to support a family in need.
And if you notice, the shirts are the same in both of those, even though they were 2 years apart. This is one when Greg was little, and I told you, my friend.
See, my brother Greg is 2 years younger, and we've always done everything together, pretty much everything since we've grown up. If I was doing it, he was doing it.
This was his best bow kill to date.
Pretty much if me and Greg were out doing something, Dad was tagging along with us to make sure we did it right.
You know, we all three of us were real close.
You know, I recently lost him, and he's gonna be hard to replace.
This is a unique picture of me and my brother. Convinced him to get up on my shoulders there, and I thought that was a really good picture. One of my favorite pictures of me and him together.
His brother Greg was involved in a horrible workplace accident, and the members of Local 1943 rallied behind Greg and his family in their time of need and supported them when they needed it most.
This is my brother and his youngest daughter, Savannah. My brother himself was not a union member. When he had his accident, the overwhelming support from his union employees was outstanding. After Greg's passing, the support didn't stop. It's still going on, matter of fact.
Brotherhood Outdoors receives hundreds of applications each month, and every single one of those applications is worthy of recognition. But every once in a while, beyond that recognition, there's a story that needs to be told.
You don't expect to be chosen or anybody read your story, and then within a week or two, I received a call from Julie, and one of the best phone calls I'd gotten.
So what was it that Gene Barnes wrote to us asking to do on Brotherhood Outdoors? He wanted his dad, Harlyn Barnes, to get his very first elk.
We are here, Salt Lake City, Utah. We are getting ready to meet Mr. Gene and Mr. Harlyn Barnes. They have got an incredible story. Julie's been talking to the both of them now for a couple weeks. You are not going to want to miss this episode. It is amazing.
Brotherhood Outdoors is brought to you by VIP, providing training and careers for our returning heroes. IBB, we represent the best of North America. SMART. Smart's expertise adds best value to every job. Burris, see the light. Steiner, new era of innovation. And Buck, knives that fit your life.
Part of the story that Gene shared with us begins up in Ohio. His brother Greg was involved in a horrible workplace accident, and the members of Local 1943 rallied behind Greg and his family in their time of need and supported them when they needed it most. Gene is a member of IAM Local 2781, and they are joining us for an elk hunt. Hi, Gene. I'm Julie.
Hey,
nice
Julie.
to meet you. And this must be Harlyn. Here's our elk hunter.
How you doing, too?
Me and Greg have been fortunate enough to take some elk with various weapons, bow, gun, muzzleloader, what have you. And one of our goals was to get my dad one, since he hadn't gotten one yet. Now we're hunting in a state, Idaho, that I've never hunted in my life. My brother never hunted in, Dad's never hunted in his life.
Oh, I got you there.
Who's filming who?
We're going to have an opportunity to hunt a big elk in Idaho. We have a short time frame, 3 days, but I feel strongly we're going to be able to pull it off with country this great. I think we're going to make it happen.
I thought it might be a little more flat than what it actually was, but out by the Pocatello mountain range, it is anything but flat.
The really fun thing about these trips with Brotherhood Outdoors is surprising our guests with lodging. Most of these guys think that we're just going to be sleeping in a shed or a tent camp. But when we pull up to an incredible bed and breakfast, Gene and Harlan's jaws drop.
We have arrived
It is.
at the Rocky Mountain Red Brick Inn, and they just turned the light on for us. That's pretty cool.
Started our hunt on a positive note, and everybody was jubilant, I would say, about the hunt.
Normally we're setting up our tents right now in the dark with snow coming down.
Especially Daniel, Lee, and Julie. They made me feel really good, made Dad feel really good.
We found an outfitter out in Idaho, Bear Paw Outfitters. Brian and Dale Denny are the guides and owners at Bear Paw Outfitters, and we knew that they would be able to help us put Harlan on his very first trophy bull elk.
Howdy, I'm Brian.
Harlan, you know, you gonna be our guide?
Yes, I am.
Got up early, had a good breakfast, met the outfitter.
When Harlan and Gene finally got to meet our guide, Brian Denny, we knew that we had a guide's guide.
We operate here in Idaho. We do mule deer and elk, moose, and cougar hunts. In Washington, we do whitetail, black bear, moose, and Merriam's turkeys. And in Montana, we do whitetail, mule deer, and antelope. Utah, we hunt elk, mule deer, and cougars. On this hunt, we're here to do an elk here in Idaho. And I'm thinking we're gonna have a good hunt. The weather's pretty nice and clear, and should be a good hunt.
I seen 11 bulls up there the day before, and we figured we'd get up there and get into them.
Everybody in our group did a little bit of research on the altitude that we were going to be hunting. But when we finally got halfway up that first mountain, we had no idea how difficult it was going to be.
So we started off the first morning. We did a pretty nasty hike up a big ridge.
Dad's 74 years old. He's in really good shape, but I knew that we were going to have a hike. Our guide told us that, and Dad had been dreading it. I dread it. You know, I'm from Kentucky. I don't have mountain goat legs.
The first day out on the hunt, we was told we was going to have a pretty hard walk, about a mile or a little better.
We got to the spot that our guide wanted to go to.
My son spotted the elk, and so the guide was trying to get us set up.
We did manage to find one of them bulls up there, and he was a pretty good 5-point.
I looked at an area that to me looked promising and glanced over, and I spotted 2 elk.
Challenge is, he's over 800 yards away.
I had a hard time getting into a position because I shoot left-handed.
If you can set, we can make the gun taller, or I can make the gun lower.
Could not get anything to really hardly work, and we was going to have about an 800-yard shot, and knew we had to be awful steady.
Having hunted with hundreds, if not thousands of guides over the years, it is such a breath of fresh air to see a guide who is so thorough in prepping for a day's hunt. Harlyn isn't really feeling confident about this shot, so we take our time. And the other problem is this bull is behind trees the entire time, so we barely get him on film.
We tried that elk for a good 2 hours to get him to do what we wanted him to do, well, he chose to do the opposite. So we didn't get a shot at that elk, but that's hunting.
We got up in here this morning. We managed to see a few elk. Seen one 5-point bull. He was across the canyon from us. He was already headed up to his bedding area. And we didn't quite get on him before he got bedded down in the thick timber. That's elk hunting. We'll try again.
So comes the end to our very first morning of our elk hunt out here in Idaho.
Yes, and what a morning it was.
When you say what a morning, you mean a lot of walking?
That was a lot of walking.
Now, this was a spot that Brian was up here yesterday and saw 11 bulls. So we're kind of wondering if something didn't happen, if another group didn't come up yesterday afternoon and bust them up. But Brian's got some hunting holes that he's certain that we're going to find a big bull elk that Harlyn and Jean are going to be able to take down. You guys stick around. We'll be right back with a little more Brotherhood Outdoors right after this.
Brian and Dale Denny are the guides and owners at Bearpaw Outfitters, and we knew that they would be able to help us put Harlyn on his very first trophy bull elk.
So we got a good plan put together for in the morning, and I really feel good about it, and we're going to put Harlyn on in front of a good bull, and hopefully everything works out and we can actually get him to stand there and give us a good shot. So
I hope we find something that we have to stalk after.
On the morning of day 2, Brian and his dad Dale decide to take us to a ridgeline, which is so close to where we were hunting the day before, but Brian knows that there are a few bull elk out here.
When we were going along here and we spotted some bulls up here on the hill. We're gonna take a look at them and see what we got. What you saying about that?
It wasn't long, we spotted some nice elk.
He's behind the sage.
Yeah.
His horns are sticking up.
Yeah. But he's just to the left of the one standing up, right?
The two, yeah. There's two big ones there, and then they're just bedded down to the left.
Yeah, I see him. Now, this is elk hunting.
So after an hour and a half of getting set up on this one bull that Harlyn has his sights on, the bulls finally make their move and head over the ridgeline. And this morning starts off fast and furious.
This was a really fun father and son trip for Harlyn and Jean, but in the back of our minds, we always remembered that we were there as a tribute to Greg.
They really do miss their brother and their son. They really do, Greg. It's such an emotional story, and I don't know. It almost feels like when Harlyn finally gets his bull, it's going to be a little bit of closure for him. I don't know. You know, it's hard to explain in the hunting industry what we do. Hunters, you know, sometimes something like that really does add a little bit of closure to something as tragic as what happened to Greg. But all I know is I think the two of them are having a blast, and I'm glad we're seeing some elk, which is crazy.
There's 3 big bulls. Again, they're on a distant ridge. They're out of shooting range right now. We keep seeing bulls, but at long range, we're gonna try to get in closer on one of these bulls and try to get Harlyn a good shot.
We changed tactics. Went to a different spot, a whole different hillside to get around to give us a better shot at the elk.
Been trying to get close enough to them and use these ridges to get a little closer shot. So the country's pretty steep here. We'll see what we can do.
Of course, that required Dad to get situated again, and our guide was very patient with Dad, got him where he needed to be.
The bull that we're after, he's kind of in that brush, and he's not open for a clear shot. He's kind of moving up through the brush, so we just hold off until we got a better shot at him. And right now, there's just not a clear shot through that brush.
Well, we're getting ready to take Dad's bull if he cooperates, and I'm wearing Greg's hat right now. It's brought us some luck today, day 2. We're just waiting on this bull to cooperate with us. This brings me back
This is his biggest deer to date right here.
Gene's brother, Greg Barnes, worked at AK Steel up in Ohio. His brother Greg was involved in a horrible workplace accident, and the members of Local 1943 rallied behind Greg and his family in their time of need.
They were like a tight circle of hunting. They discussed between themselves their favorite spots, not to indulge this to anyone else, and they were just a tight circle. And now it's been broken. We lost Greg, and it's been broken. But after seeing how they've done this year, I think they'll overcome. I think as a mother, I'm having the hardest time. But time should take care of that too.
You need to go ahead and get on him.
I can see him all right. But
Standing there broadside.
y'all ready for a shot?
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm getting ready.
We're ready.
Let him
Move
stop
it.
again. He's walking. He's just to the left of the 3.
Oh, come on, stop.
It's only too far.
He's turned left, looking back over his
Let's
shoulder.
wait for a little broadside
Yep.
shot.
Yep. There's no point in rushing this.
We lost the pressure off the other.
Now he's walking away.
No, we can't do it.
The bulls finally make their move and head over the ridgeline, which means we are now on the move to get ahead of these bulls.
Brotherhood Outdoors is brought to you by VIP, providing training and careers for our returning heroes. IBB, we represent the best of North America. SMART, Smart's expertise adds best value to every job. Burris, see the light. Steiner, new era of innovation. And Buck, knives that fit your life.
So after an hour and a half of getting set up on this one bull that Harlyn has his sights on, the bulls finally make their move and head over the ridgeline.
When we had to move to try to get another location to get a closer shot.
When we got Dad finally comfortable with his shot and the bull finally cooperated with us, you know, the excitement really started to build. I could tell it in Dad's eyes.